What is the affidavit of support within the family-based immigration system in the United States? That's what we're talking about on today's episode of Sumner School Family Immigration Basics. My name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law. Let's get into it. So what is the affidavit of support? It is a form and also a contract with the federal government that in general, a person who is sponsoring a family member for immigration to the United States has to sign. The reason that we have the affidavit of support is this idea of public charge. A person cannot be a public charge to the United States. Again, the reason behind that is that the idea that we can't have a lot of foreign nationals coming to the United States and taking public benefits because that could potentially be an unsustainable strain on the system. There certainly are exceptions to that, but in general, it's not something that's sustainable potentially. So we have this requirement that a person show that they're not a public charge or won't become a public charge in the United States. And to do that, you have to have this affidavit of support. As I said, the person who is sponsoring the foreign national for a family-based immigration petition typically has to sign the affidavit of support, whether they meet the requirements or not. And we'll talk about that in more detail in just a minute. So when you sign the affidavit of support, like I said, it's Form I-864, but it's also a contract with the federal government. So when you sign the form, you are attesting that you will support the foreign national at least 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. And those guidelines are published, they're available online. It depends on how many people are included in your household. There's a definition in the regulations for household. It's a little complicated, but know that there is a way to find out. We will help you through that process to find out the exact amount that you have to show that you will be able to support the foreign national in the United States. In addition, you are attesting when you sign the affidavit of support that you will reimburse the government for the cost of certain means-tested benefits if the foreign national that you're sponsoring takes certain means-tested benefits from the government. It's unlikely to happen, in my opinion. A lot of times foreign nationals aren't even eligible for those benefits, but you're saying that if they do take certain benefits in certain circumstances, that you will reimburse the government for the cost of those benefits. So what is required to sign the affidavit of support? As I said, typically the person who is sponsoring a family member for immigration to the United States, when I say immigration here, I mean for a green card, family-based green card, has to sign the affidavit of support. When you sign the affidavit of support, you have to show that you meet the income requirements, which is you have to show that you earn at least 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. It is possible to use assets instead of or in addition to your income, and it's possible to use what's called a joint sponsor, which is another person who does meet the income or asset requirements who would sign that form in addition to you. When do we submit the affidavit of support? We submit it at different points depending on the process that you're going through. If the foreign national family member is applying for the green card here in the United States, filing what's called an adjustment of status application with Form I-485, we submit the affidavit of support along with that form and some other documentation as well. If your family member is going through consular processing, meaning they're going to apply for an immigrant visa at the US consulate overseas, in that case, the NVC, the National Visa Center, will gather that documentation. So the I-130 petition is approved, then it's sent to the National Visa Center. That's the point at which you submit the affidavit and the supporting documentation. The supporting documentation will vary depending on your financial situation, your source of income, but typically it's copies of your tax returns and copies of the documentation to show your source of income. So that could be things like W-2s, pay stubs, 1099s. There are other situations where a person has Social Security income that may count. They could have retirement income, all different possibilities, and we will help you walk through that process if you are a client of Sumner Immigration Law. So one last point about the affidavit of support is to know that it is enforceable until the person that you are sponsoring becomes a US citizen or until they have 40 quarters of qualifying Social Security income. That's basically 10 years of working in the United States. It is not possible to call USCIS or write them a letter and ask them to withdraw the affidavit of support. Once you've submitted it, That's it. It's submitted and you can't withdraw it. And divorce does not undo the affidavit of support. So that's important to keep in mind as well. Once you submit it, it's pretty much done. So all of this information is critical for you to know if you are sponsoring a foreign national for permanent residence in the United States through the family-based immigration system. It's important that you know what you're signing up for, what obligations you have, what documentation, the type of documentation that you'll need to submit, and when to submit it. We are here to help you through that process. If you have not yet started your family-based immigration process, or if you have and you're at a point where you're stuck and you're not sure what to do next, feel free to contact us to set a time for an initial consultation. You can do that by contacting us at our website, sumnerimmigration.com, by emailing us at info@sumnerimmigration.com, or calling us at 804-396-3412. If you found this information helpful, I hope that you will share this video with a friend or family member and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, my name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law, serving clients around the world and here in the United States with employment-based and family-based immigration cases.